Hey, welcome back. This is Bridges and Breakdowns podcast. If you are under the sound of my voice, you have come back. And we are so happy to have you here. I am your co-host, Alyzza. I am here with my beautiful, effervescent, wonderful best friend.
Hey y'all, it's Lorryn.
Yes, and you are here to listen to the musings of your favorite millennials, posted up at the intersection of 5 generations who love to tussle, trying to integrate the best of what each generation has to offer and act as that bridge generation to figure out what we should keep and improve upon, or do the hard job of breaking down what needs to be left behind. So thank you for joining us back this week. Best friend, how are you?
Girl, I'm striving and surviving. I can't complain. Amen. How are you, friend?
It has been a week, but I feel like every week we will continue to say that because it's real tricky out here. But we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We start off every week catching up, as long distance best friends do, with a segment we like to call Glow and Grow. So Lorryn, take us there.
Oh, yeah. So our Glow and Grow is an opportunity for us to catch up on the week. For the glows, we talk about something that's positive that happened that we're excited to share. And maybe, we learned something or got to flex our muscles for a new skill. And then our Grow is something that, we need to work on. But no losses, we just play us all. Everybody has to catch up and learn new things. So it's nothing wrong with growing. Just don't stay stagnant. Yeah. With that, best friend.
Yes.
You want to go negative or you want to be positive?
You're like, I thrive on negativity. No, I'll go positive. This is a really fun pick me up. I had an intern way back in the day. Yeah, when I was yet a public servant, there was this really bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young Habesha queen who I worked with down at the health department. She was a really sweet girl. She hit me up and asked for a recommendation for graduate school recently. And at the time, because I guess this is the application, she probably would have applied at the end of last year. I'm like, was this everything is pre-Trump, post-Trump for me at this point. I'm like, was this before or after the election? Anyway, young lady was applying to some schools, talked to me about it. And I was not exactly convinced she was applying to programs that made the most sense for her. But this is her life. You can't be a hater. You can
lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink.
But the fact that this is a glow is positive because, I'm glad she did. She followed her heart and did what she thought was best for her in her career. And she applied to some really competitive schools, but only programs in London, only the UK. And at the time, I'm like, girl, public health, like you should just stay your ass here. There's so many great schools here, so many great programs. And she was just really dead set on studying abroad. Jokes on us, ain't about to be no public health systems or schools in the United States. So my baby, she was a visionary. She got the sight. She got the sight, and I was so happy. I just finally followed up with her, and she got into the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, which is like one of the oldest, most prestigious schools of public health. So shouts out to that young Habesha queen. She is going to study public health in London, and she's going to escape the foolishness that is Trump's America right now, and what he's doing to science and industry and universities and all of these systems of health and medicine. So that made me feel proud that I was like such a helpful and hopefully instrumental part of her excitement to pursue the field and the mentorship that I was able to provide while she was like one of my interns. And now just to see her kind of pushing forward, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, that's my glow. I'm very proud of
her. And you for leading them through.
Purr.
Each one teach one.
As the kids say. Did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. No, you can't do it like you gotta do it like this. My bad. Okay. What is your glow? Oh, no, you go. I want to hear positive first. Let's do your positive. What are you glowing about?
I thrive on negativity. I was gonna start with my grow. My glow. I had a great day yesterday. So I started the day, I had a nonprofit board meeting. I was cutting it close and barely making it. I made the agenda. at 7 a.m. The meeting was at 10, but I got it out. I got a fair number of the board there. So, I was feeling good. We got a lot accomplished. Next month is our last one. So I'm not trying to cram stuff in, but also we have to pass a lot of things. So, it was a very productive meeting, albeit a little haphazard because I threw the agenda together hours before, but got through that successfully. Then I had book club, which I have a tiny little book club. We're called the Bookworm Baddies. It's been a while. Bookworm or
You don't seem to rep your gang very well. That's crazy.
No, Baddie Bookworms. Yeah.
Kind of founder are you? It's embarrassing.
No, double B's. That's all I know. But yeah, so we had a really great book club meeting. Our book of the month was 7 Days in June. I hadn't read
that crackhead book.
It is the crackhead book.
Oh my goodness.
It's Crackheads in Love. And, I do understand why people said that, but little secret about me, I still was into the main male character. Maybe I'll have a crackhead love summer. Who knows?
Jesus. God forbid. No, Lord.
Well, no,
strike
I'm not a
it down,
crackhead.
Lord.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a crackhead. And so,
I don't want to hear about this book. Please
continue. Okay. My bad. I just started thinking about Shane. But yeah, he was cute. And then
in the book, you don't know what he looked like.
In my mind, I know what he looked like.
Okay, there we go.
But anywho, then I went out. My niece and my nephew wanted to go to this diner that has train stuff. Aww. The food is decent, but it was all right. But mainly they do a little choo-choo train and bring your food around. They have all this stuff. And I wasn't going to go, but I was like, no, you did all this stuff. You can go get some dinner with your family, hang out with your niece and nephew. And my niece was so excited to see me.
Aww.
And she kept trying to feed me all her food after she had licked it and got it all soggy. And I ate some of it because
Gross.
I was so happy to see her. She was not going to let me otherwise. She was stuffing it into my mouth.
Oof.
But the reason why this is all a glow is because I did it with the assistance of the proper meds. Hallelujah.
What?
Yes, I finally was able. Now, it's not the dosage I would like, but it is what I need. And I felt such a huge difference. I started taking it Friday. Ball game.
God,
I feel invincible.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I got a bitch ain't raw dog in life no more. No. I am so proud of you. I am so happy. Thank you. Come on, medicine.
Yes, praise God. Yeah, so I still think I have burnout, but I was able to do a lot of things, and I was very happy. And although I didn't do everything that I wanted to do, I still felt good that I did something. So I'm
so excited. What a game changer this is. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. I'm proud of you, friend.
Thank you. All right. Now, that was a very long-winded glow. I'm an overshare. Sorry. Lisa, what's your negative? Your glow? Your grow, excuse me.
My grow is I'm just sleep training my 10-month-old and my mother has moved in with us this summer. So if you know anything about sleep training and Black parenthood intergenerationally, I am raised by boomers. My mother's doing her best Fred Sanford impression. You would think she's going to die every time this baby cries just for a moment in his bed. So it's real chaotic over here. It's real loud. It's a lot of judgment. It's a lot of, you just going to let him cry like that. But, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to do what's best for the family and for my sleep health and my sleep hygiene and his, because he's very big and he can't just nurse all through the night. We can't do that. He has to learn how to do some self-soothing, and that's a part of parenting. That's a part of raising children. And I get it. He's an infant, but people have strong opinions.
He's almost a 1-year-old.
He's almost a 1-year-old. People have strong opinions about sleep training kids. It's a lot of, and especially on the parenting side of social media, you can see a lot of folks acting like you are literally causing irreparable harm to your child by doing any type of sleep training. And I think there's just a balance in like most things. But yeah, trying to sleep train a baby with the Black grandmother in the house is damn near somebody's going to be upset. Multiple somebody's going to be upset by the end of the night. So pray for us. That is
I'm praying for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. Girl, if you don't go sit down.
Oh my gosh, that's so
love
funny.
you to pieces, but not doing this with you.
You
and
gotta
him.
parakeet him.
I don't even know what that means.
Just throw a blanket over him, like when you do parakeet cages. It's nighttime.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
I just want to say that I told my sister-in-law to do that to my nephew, I think, and they laughed at me because I said it like that. But she tried it one time,
And it worked.
Guess what, chat? It worked.
Oh my God.
That's how I get myself to go to sleep, and I can be very childlike when I don't want to.
Now you're the baby whisperer because you too are a baby.
Mm-hmm.
The auntie is the baby.
The auntie is the baby child.
I love it. Oh my God. Well, that's my grow. We're growing over here trying to. What about you, Fran? What are you doing over there?
What am I doing over there? My grow. I feel like every time I do one of these, they're linked, but a part of my analysis paralysis impacted my laundry. And so I need a lot of things laundered. Okay. And now I'm pushed up against the wall. So I will be washing some clothes tonight once we're done. Damn. Because I legitimately don't have nothing to wear but freakum dresses.
That's hilarious. You're going to be down to the courthouse looking like a whole black lady sketch comedy. Terrible skit. That's hilarious.
So so I'll be doing laundry for the foreseeable future.
Oh man, not freakum dresses.
Yeah, and hopefully some of them
put a blazer over that hoe. It's gonna look like when we was going to the club in 2009.
I've been losing a little weight, might be a little baggy. That's all. As long as it ain't tight, they ain't gonna care. They don't want to see nothing about curves. So if it's baggy, hell, I don't give a damn. But I do try to look presentable, although I have not ran across any sexy. What is there a male lawyer that I like on television? Don't know, but yeah, I've been looking for him in the courtroom because if you can't tell, I am off of my break.
For the hoes.
I forget how that song go. How'd it go?
Well, we're not going to talk about that crazy ass girl.
I was trying to think of the ad-lib. Looking for the hoe. I think it's just it ain't my fault or something. Okay, whatever.
She samples too. It's very derivative, but it bops a little bit. It
does. It's perfect. I actually cannot wait because I have the perfect video for our episode no context post for that. So I'm very excited.
Hilarious.
But yeah, so that's cool. All right. Yes. So we've been speaking of growing.
Yes, we have. But I love that plug for social. We are growing the platform and we would love for y'all to tap in and chat back at us. You can follow us along at Bridges Breaks Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And we are now on YouTube with the full video episodes of this beautiful show. And we would love for you to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can also rate, review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But we have been being more consistent with having fun with our platforms.
Yes.
Tap in.
Whoop, whoop.
It's real fun over there.
Yes, it's very fun. And it'll be even more fun if we could kiki with y'all in the comments over email.
Because it's all about community.
Girl. It is. And that's what we're trying to build.
Absolutely. Of like-minded folks who are out here trying to generationally make some shit shake. So this new segment we have, again, we're trying to make sure that you all are coming to know us a little bit more. We know each other very well. But in this segment, we honestly are still learning new things about each other. Because no matter how long you've been in a relationship with somebody, there's always more you can learn because people grow and people change if they're doing life the right way. So this segment is called Break the Ice, Not the Bridge. We take turns every week giving each other a ridiculous icebreaker that may or may not tie into the theme of the show or that episode. So this week, Lauren, it's Black Music Week, or I'm sorry,
Music Month.
Black Music Month, right?
Yes.
It's Black Music Month. So June is a lot. It's Happy Pride. Be who you are for your pride. So love June down. Black Music Month is very special to us because clearly we're very musically inclined. There's music infused all up and through the inspiration of this show. So I want you. It's going to be real simple, to the point. Give me an old head and youngin collab to make a song of the summer. Every summer you have a jam that you can't get away from. It's like, oh my God, this song is going to be everywhere. All the day parties, all the commercials, they're going to play it down to the supermarket. It's going to be on the radio. Your grandma going to know the words, right? Summer jam. I want you to think of an intergenerational duo, a pair. We already have like some of the examples that exist in real life. Randomly, Usher and Summer Walker love doing songs together. Beyonce and Luther, you know, they had a couple of collaborations. Even Lady Gaga and was it Tony Bennett? Right? They randomly.
That wasn't a song of the summer though.
No. These aren't songs of the summer. I just meant the spirit of like, think about that collaboratively. They don't even have to be in the same genre. So I want you to think about if you had to make a song of the summer, what you would want to hear and what would really ride. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I got 3 options. And I want you to pick which one you actually want to hear.
Okay.
Okay. Boom. First, give me Anita Baker and SZA.
Okay.
Think about it. It's very much auntie and chaotic niece because they're both very chaotic people.
Yes.
They both have
Miss
had...
Baker is a Kendrick Lamar stan account at this point.
Which I love. First of all,
I love it too.
I'm going to probably wear an Anita Baker shirt to the Kendrick concert.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I need to figure it out because it's this week.
Mine is next week. Yeah. If you know anything about me, I've been in love with Anita Baker since I was like 4 years old. So they both had generational runs with R&B. Think about how much SZA has pop music and R&B on lock. Same with Auntie Nita. I think them together on the track would actually ride. Second option, give me Missy Elliott and Meg Thee Stallion.
I could get with that.
Missy has the production vision for Meg's flow that I think would really work. And it's fun. They both dance. They're both just like girls. I think I would love to hear that. Or wild card, give me the fact that she's considered an old head now is also like, I'm scared. Erykah Badu and Tim's with like a Janae Aiko feature. It would be a very like, we going on a trip. Like a trip. You know what I mean? Very smoke hour, very vibey.
But do Tim's blow down? I think she'd be doing a Christian R&B bit, like Walking on Water. Like that one video, Me and You.
I remember
they were gonna blow down.
They were, I'm not even gonna get there. I don't want the Niger Cousins on my back.
No shade, no tea, no shade. I'm just saying, I don't think she would be on the smoke track.
I don't know if Tim's issues have been more with like traditional religion, like
Tim's wanna drop it low for Jesus,
only for Jesus. But yeah, there are lots of Christians who also will smoke you down.
That's true.
To the studs. So I don't know Tim's or what she's said on the record about whether she indulges in the devil's lettuce or not. But those are my 3. I think those 3 collabs really embody the spirit of bridging the generations in a way that would make some really magical bops. Which would you actually want to hear though of those 3?
Well, you know, I'm partial because Meg's one of my favorite rappers. So, and I love Missy Down.
Yeah. It would be the Missy and Meg track. Song of the summer.
Yeah, I could easily say no to Asleep a Baker. No, I'm just kidding.
I hope she finds you and block you after she cuts you out.
No, we're not going to make this a magic clip. No, but yeah, if I had to order, it would be Meg, then the smoke hour, and then the sleepy time.
And they might not even, Tim's might not be on no smoking them down because Tim's will randomly give us a bop for the summertime. It's just like
Me and You. I love Tim's music, but I just remember it was like a whole thing where like,
I mean, Essence was everywhere. We couldn't get away. Justin Bieber wanted to cover it.
That's
I'm about to say, we couldn't get away from that song. The girl knows how to write a record. And,
absolutely.
I think that
excellent music.
And Erykah, the playfulness of like maybe having like a Afro beats inspired track with Erykah, because Erykah's such a chameleon. She sounds like wherever Erykah is, there she is, and she owns it and embodies it. So I think that could be a fire ass track too. But yes, those are my 3.
Okay.
What about you, friend? Give me at least one good one.
Okay. All right. So the first one that I want to come up with 2, but the one that came up instantly, I had to do my boy, Charlie Wilson, Big Baby Dram.
That would be great. Oh, I love Dram.
I do too. He had a concert here, but he canceled it. I think it was low ticket sales. I was very sad about that.
Man, it's fuck Drake behind Dram forever.
I know. Ooh,
stole that nigga's whole flow. I know.
Oh,
it's okay.
God.
It's all right, Dram.
And then my other one would be all of the aggressive rap girlies. So like Queen, Lady of Rage, Lil Kim, Roxanne Shante, and then now I'm not saying I don't know how it's gonna work, but I just want aggressive women talking shit. So then it would be like Meg, Flo Milli, Mona Leo,
Rico Nasty.
Rico, I don't know, because Rico could do it. I just don't. Yes, Rico wasn't on my list, but I could add Rico.
Okay.
And then
my bad. I'm over here ARing your whole shit. My bad.
Throw
my takeover spirit.
Let's see. So yeah. I'm really trying to think about that because I don't know. I think Rico could do it, but I don't know that I've heard her talking shit in the way that I am envisioning it currently. Okay. So it would be a stretch. And then maybe Maya the Don. I love her.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's fun.
So like an aggressive ensemble.
Like think Ladies Night. Like I want to kind of be Ladies Night. Yeah, I mean, because you can have fun. I like, they tell people what to do. And men respond to that. At least the men that like me, I guess. But,
More to come. I love that. Of the two you gave me, damn, now you're gonna have me trying to pick between it's like it's a gender battle. I don't like this. Because I would love to hear Charlie Wilson and Dram, but I feel like we've heard records like that because Uncle Charlie loves the Young Bulls.
He does.
So I'm gonna go with the
Cash Cobain and him.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the ensemble. I'm gonna go with the ensemble of ladies for the summertime. Summer girl. And
yeah.
Let's hear it for the girls.
That was fun. For the girls. It was.
I had fun.
Good question.
Yeah.
Music questions kind of stress me out because I really
there's no wrong answer, Lauren. There's no wrong answer.
But like, if I had the time to really like get in my bag, I could make it perfect, and I could give you like a melody and like a time signature, so I can really show like.
You know what? Well, maybe on social, maybe that can be a fun follow up for the icebreaker. Once you've actually had time to sit with it, you can be like, "This was my first answer, but this is my better answer."
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Another grow. I tried to slick my hair up with gel, and the gel and the mousse is sliding down my face. So that's why I keep wiping it. I'm not sweating. I feel like I got Jerry curl activator on.
Oh no!
And it
Which apparently the Jerry curls are coming back.
Not in this black household. Y'all
not
need to
in
stop.
This lifetime. No, it's legitimately coming back.
Is it the men? It's the men, ain't it? I'm wearing crop tops again. Please leave the Jerry curl alone. Wear the bell bottoms, wear belly tops. Y'all can do waist beads.
Our bodies aren't bodying enough for men to be out here with. They don't have bodies from the 80s and 90s no more. They're not 90s fine, so I don't want to see the 90s attire.
If you look like Stefan Diggs, wear the crop tops.
That's hilarious. Which is, you know what? Let's just go straight into the girl. What is going on?
Yes.
Go ahead. Take it away, Lolo. What's this segment about?
This is our pop culture society section where we are talking about something that's going on that, we like clutching our pearls a little bit. Maybe it's something that's funny, a teachable moment, or it's like, we finna get on your ass because you are really out of line. Usually we have a mix, I think, of both. And sometimes it's just information. But either way, it's a good time. It's us for being able to process everything that's going on in the world. And
here, honestly, because I also think, exactly, because we don't always even agree. And sometimes it's helpful to have like each other's perspective to anchor some of what we're considering, That's the whole point of friendships that with people who you respect and are critical thinkers. It can kind of help you tighten up your own analysis, and iron sharpens iron. So first topic of the day, you want to go on talk about Cardi since you brought up her new man, my man.
Sure. All right. So if you heard that, we are going to first jump into Offset's spousal support request, which spurred a lot of controversy over these last few days. If you are not aware, Offset, who used to be my cousin, but he ain't no more. Offset was married to Cardi B for some time, but in any event, the relationship is over. Cardi filed for divorce in August of last year, and on and off throughout this, from then to now, she has been asking him to sign the papers, stop having your family harass me, just all types of stuff. And he'll come out, do little stunts occasionally. They just go back and forth. And then in between that, I think they also had a baby as well. So, but now
she said he's only seen like 5 times in her life. Yes, the baby was born in March. Mm-hmm. And he's only seen the baby 5 times since March, which is
and she was so mad because I don't think she actually like publicly announced the baby's name, and she was screaming, which I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going back up. Anywho, so they are divorced. He obviously, I think he wants his family back, but she's not bending, and so they have been, things have been in the news because his popularity, his music has kind of taken a nosedive. He has been in the gym working on his fitness, trying to like have a strong face because obviously, he's spiraling a little bit. Well, I can't say obviously. It appears that he's spiraling. I don't know that man. But earlier in my old cousin, I don't know him no more. Earlier last month in May, he had filed an amended response to the divorce petition seeking spousal support. We don't know the exact day that he filed it, but it's been reported that it was early in the month of May. And this is important because maybe last week or earlier this week, it somehow was, and somehow I'm being facetious, Offset's team sent it to the Breakfast Club because TMZ got wind of it and then they reported on it. And so then that silly girl with the sticky bang at the Breakfast Club went and reached out to his people and asked them for a statement, and he basically was like, I don't need money, but she keep coming at me and trying to tell me when I can see the kids, and she want everything, the houses and the cars, and on top of that she is rarely with the kids, so that's why God. I want spousal support of an undetermined amount. So Cardi,
Legal Eagle, walk us through it.
One, we should not know this much about their business. I just
take us out the chat. Please. Take us out the chat.
But understand that the reason why he filed this earlier in the month, he was probably praying that the blogs and stuff picked it up, because I think he did it just to mess with her, and it didn't work. So then he ended up, when it finally was picked up by TMZ, then he went and sent that statement that basically, in her words, was defaming her because it wasn't true. So she ended up going on Spaces, which is on Twitter, or that's all I'm calling it. And she basically went on a 20-minute rant reading him for filth. She said that he's mentally unwell, and she's been trying to show him grace because she knows that something is really wrong with him. And over the last 7 to 8 months, he just has lost it. Let it spill that he has not been supporting his children at all for the last year, and they have lots and lots of expenses. She read down all the, she spends $10,000 on a driver. She laid out all the expenses that she has, and
for her kids,
just her kids. And she said, those are her kids. She's fine doing it, but he doesn't offer anything to her, and he doesn't come to see them. So, for him to say that, and she also mentioned that he is always welcome to see his kids and that she encourages it, but he chooses not to. And she even gave an example that, to have some separation, she was having him meet the kids at a hotel so he didn't have to come to her house, because he actually lives back in Atlanta and her and the kids live in New Jersey. But he felt like he shouldn't have to see his kids in no hotel. So then she moved the visitations to her mom's house, and he had a problem with that. So then she allowed him to come to her house, and he still really wouldn't show up like he was supposed to. She listed like 2 or 3 times. He had ended up standing them up. And then she said she's been paying for the house that he's living in Atlanta with his girlfriend, and she has not been tripping on that. She said, what gifts? What do you want from me? What am I trying to take? I have my house in New York. I'm keeping that. I spend my money on it. The house in Atlanta, we can sell it and split it because we both contributed to it. Or you can buy me out if you and your girlfriend want to continue to live there. If you want to take back the gifts you gave me, I'm taking back the gifts I gave you.
Hell yeah.
It's fine. Just leave me alone. So she's basically like, I just feel like he's doing this because, you know, I'm out and I'm having a good time. And then for him to lie, so she started screaming. It was actually kind of sad. But she was like, all she do is
gets
work.
very volatile.
She does. And it was hard to listen to. So I actually didn't listen to the full thing. But essentially, she was like, I'm taking care of our kids and you on here lying on me. And it really hurt her feelings. It was clear. But then she brought up, I only spend time with my kids and my nigga. And sometimes I don't even have time for him. So he comes see me while I'm working. And she kind of said that with like a little extra little kick. And I took it as like Offset was not necessarily that supportive to travel to her when she was off doing her thing. But she talked about how, and if you don't know, which you should, because Lisa just said it, but Stefan Diggs is her boo. And then, you know, they had a little moment.
He's a professional athlete.
Yes, he plays for the Patriots.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, yes.
And even Essence was talking about it. In which Essence struggling.
Magazine.
I'm struggling.
I've left the chat. I'm sorry to tell. Actually, I'm not sorry to tell you, and I have my own reasons for leaving the chat. But
I'm struggling,
girl. Black media right now in general is like
struggling.
Black legacy media. I'm really concerned. Ebony said something the last week that I was like, how many people approved this?
Right.
How did we get? Oh, it was I'm not my ancestors. Take the PTO. My ancestors didn't survive the Middle Passage for me to be on here toiling on Zoom. And it's like, girl,
relax.
We've lost 5. But anyway.
Well, Essence said the best way to get your lick back is by having fun. If y'all don't cut it out, girl. My mama reads this. Stop it. If my mama comes to me talking about you getting your lip back, I'm flipping tables down to the Essence because y'all should not be talking like that. But anywho, it was great. I think she would actually give Offset some money, which.
But do you? Okay. What is your opinion about her or about men getting spousal support in general? Especially if they don't have custody of children. Because let's take that out of because that's the thing. It's one thing if you're actually the custodial parent.
Absolutely.
I think that is very cut and dry.
That's
in
fair.
my opinion. Mm-hmm. But when you're out here gallivanting, and you're
asking for joint custody, but specifically stating that you want the kids, your ex-wife to be the primary parent. So you're not even trying to have them 50-50, but you want joint custody, likely to run interference on any decisions that she wants to make, right?
Exactly.
But you don't want to also have them 50-50. So you should be paying child support. So if I give you spousal support, you're going to have to send it right back because you're not like what is the point?
Especially if they're living in different cities. Because unless he's going to relocate, it would not make sense for those babies to be spending half their time.
Yeah. No.
Outside of, especially they're of school age.
Right.
But
yeah, no.
So this is just like some petty, childish, immature get back.
Right. Because he knows that he can poke her buttons. And I feel like by calling her a bad mom, that's what really set her off because she didn't really seem to mind I think she thinks it's audacious that he wants money, spousal support of all things. But if that would mean he would like sign the papers and they could be done, I think she would pay it. Would I pay it? Do I think that Offset, if I was in her shoes? No, because Offset is still able to, I'm not going to say able-bodied because I feel like that is ableist, but he is still able in this context with the amount of information that we have about Offset and how he was as a husband, the cheating and all of that other stuff. And then just the way that he's messing with her. No, I would not. I would be filing some papers to stop him from getting any type of spousal support because you're using it as like some get back. If you're broke, if it were me, to be petty, I would have posted that little video of Terrence. What's that nigga name? The one that say Maine. Terrence Howard from Best Man, when he asked Ty,
do you need some money?
Nigga, do you need some money? Yes.
Are you broke?
That would have been all that I posted. That would have been my static post. You over here filing for some damn child support. But
not even child support, spousal
support.
And
it's
you
just
know
absurd.
Especially I don't understand how he's expecting to, like, the fact that he's comfortable in hip hop, walking around the music industry with that public fodder around you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are just like letting your pettiness undermine your dignity and your ability to kind of move through your industry in a way that, with the bravado I would think you would need. Because now the first time you say something crazy to somebody is going right to you being a kept man.
Right. A begging asshole. Like, yes. But I will say there has been a wave, and maybe it's the incel type of stuff, but a lot of the entertainment guys that have been on the bad side, quote unquote, of like domestic issues, like what's his name, DDG, paying all these random girls to like basically say, oh no, he's always been very nice to me. And like, dude, like you still are like there's still, right, allegedly there's still photos of you having chipped Little Mermaid's too, like, she's got the Ring camera footage, so none of that stops it. And shouldn't you, I don't know, it's weird, because I guess the things that I feel like men used to take pride in, like, this is what a man is, men no longer do that. So I think that he would find a cohort of men who hate women that would be like, you got that bitch, take her fucking money. And like, he would be emboldened by that, similar to, you know, Drake courting all these white racist now that he's kind of done with the blacks in hip hop on the low.
He?
No, he's not, but he's trying to have a one up so he can feel like he's had a gotcha moment. Which no,
I don't think I realized that Drake was categorically done with niggas in hip hop. That's crazy to me.
No, I think he's trying to find his way back in, but I feel like it's not. He's gonna always be the Drake of rap, but I don't like the lawsuit stuff. That Aiden Ross dude, like all of that is unforgivable in certain spaces of hip hop, especially. But with some of his peers, he's gonna always be a cornball, and you're acting like a cornball by keeping this goddamn lawsuit up that you're trying to make it about UMG, but it's very clear that you're mad that you were bested. And I understand. I too would be deeply embarrassed if this was the outcome of a battle that I started, but take it on the chin. Yeah. You ain't gonna die.
Well, that's fair. I think what's fair is what I'm going back to is
the spousal support.
Yes, and Offset having community of men who are not really like our granddaddies. No. Who, even if they had two families that didn't know about each other across town, they was both taken care of.
Both taken care of. Exactly.
But yeah, that is not aspirational. But it is also not aspirational to be out here begging taking money out of you, begging for money that ultimately is not going to your children, which is.
But then want to put out a statement that it's not about the money. So then why ask for it? You could have said, I would like to have full custody of my children because she's not a good parent. She's not around them. But you are just asking for money. I want to take her money to make her be better. What? Yeah, it just reminded me of this article I read. Now, I think the demographic was primarily white women. But they had gotten divorced. They like were the main breadwinners, and their husbands either were like, some of them were writers, or some of them had traditional jobs, but once they had kids, they kind of became house husbands. Yeah. Then they got divorced, and then the husbands were suing them for like alimony and all that stuff. And those women were livid because and I was hollering. Like, I think one lady was talking about how she never considered hiring a hitman until it was funny as hell.
The homegirl domestic violence.
is.
That's crazy.
But I kind of felt her though, because if I can't remember the full story, but
don't get me into.
interesting.
I'm here for women's rights and women's wrongs, but I do think categorically, and that's not what is happening with Offset.
No.
You did not actually sacrifice your career and have a gap in your resume where you are now providing domestic support to your family. I do think there is some credence to like making people whole, especially if, depending on why the marriage broke down.
Right.
But if Seth Ass was at home for 5 years, being the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker at the crib, taking care of the family, holding it down, and he doesn't have any work history for 4 years or 5 years and has to go back out and get a job, that is going to actually influence his earning potential. And I do think there is some validity to having to kind of make your partner whole as y'all are separating, consciously uncoupling. But that is oftentimes not the
case. Yeah.
That is not the norm. Right. That's typically not the case. But, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a sweeping general hot take on men getting spousal support. I feel like the rule is a pound no. #no. And the exceptions are probably few and far in between, and literally exceptional men who are deserving of that. Like not Kelly Clarkson's husband, poor Kelly, and hopefully not poor Cardi. Cause
Cardi also, which I didn't put, she posted some little Bruja Deity or something a couple days after. So I feel like she might have asked her auntie.
She putting a root on him to put his name in the freezer.
Yeah. So hey, maybe the trash will take out itself.
Another thing in the news right now, or in popular culture, I feel like this is going to be a reoccurring thing until that man is no longer
living. No, I'm just kidding.
In the White House. Clown games, clown prizes. This week, we saw some shenanigans out of Iowa. Senator Joni Ernst was in a town hall with her constituents, and these town halls have been a hotbed for Republicans because people are upset, which is interesting because he's literally giving you what you asked for. You voted for this. This is what you requested. He is providing exactly what he said he would do. And now you're mad because you thought that he was only going to do it to the people that didn't look like you and that you wanted to hurt, did not realize that your benefits were also on the chopping block, right? So she's in a town hall. There's a constituent that asked a question expressed concern about cutting Medicaid. So this big, beautiful bill that the Republicans have voted through the House, terrible. It's going to kill a lot of people. I hate to be very straight and direct about it, but really it's a bill that's going to gut a lot of services, including Medicaid. And so someone in this town hall stands up and they emphatically say to her, or they're shouting her down, well, the constituent is who stood up shouting about this is going to kill people, right? And Joni Ernst, the senator's response was, well, we're all going to die.
Wild.
That is her response to people having very valid concerns about cutting Medicaid benefits in rural-ass Iowa. Then this lady doubled down on it and recorded a very sarcastic follow-up. She was down to the cemetery. You're laughing because it's so ridiculous. It's not funny, but it's very hilarious. And she's walking and recording a selfie that was like, I just was under the impression that I'm sorry. This is her apology to being so just cold and dismissive of her constituents. These aren't even people who are like behind a computer, people who literally showed up to the town hall to talk to you and express their grievances. I just thought everybody was under the impression that we're all going to die someday. Girl, that is not what that person meant. And everybody in that auditorium understood very well that we will all meet mortality in this lifetime. The issue is that we don't want to die early from a preventable death.
Exactly.
People want to live and reach their life's full potential. And in this country, life expectancy for the longest was going up.
And
but
now it's trending down.
It is going down. And why is that? There are lots of reasons. And I'm not going to get in my public health bag, but I will say this. Cutting Medicaid absolutely results in early, unnecessary, preventable deaths. Because when you cut people's benefits,
they can't go and get treatment. They can't have their medications. It's awful. It's terrible. And
people lose their health coverage, benefits go down, hospitals close. And I think that's what people aren't getting. I don't care if you are sitting at home protected and safe. Like, that's not a me problem because I have my good private insurance from my job. Girl, it's not going to matter. This impacts everyone. Hospitals, residency programs that train physicians, these all rely on Medicaid. And when they gut Medicaid funding so that a handful of billionaires can gas up their yachts and get these tax cuts that they don't need, it's going to be all of us.
Bunkers and shit.
It's going to be all of us in here together. And you're not going to have access to what you need, independent of whether you are on Medicaid's roll or not. But she was just,
it's time to start throwing shoes, people.
Haggard. There we go. Somebody had something right. That haggard, godless, nasty bitch. I had to look up how old she was. She looks so old in the face.
She's probably
54. She's 54 years old. She looks a smooth 72.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought she was 1 foot in the grave. That's
I
crazy.
did not think how young she was.
But she should get a deep face
for
plane.
her to feel as comfortable. They up there acting like we're in King's Landing for real. Everybody's gonna die is the answer to somebody saying don't gut Medicaid.
Where's Daenerys?
Dragons, Dracarys.
Yeah, we've got to. Somebody has to throw the first brick. Come on, Pride Month.
And the funny thing is, it's not funny because Iowa actually just flipped a seat in January. I had to look this up. A Senate seat went Democratic in January, but this lady been an incumbent senator since 2015. So she's been doing this for 10 years. And if y'all gonna let this bitch roll down to the high school arena or not even arena, this is Iowa. Probably ain't no arenas in the high schools.
Well, ain't that where Caitlin Clark from? Her school?
Oh, you know what though? Well, yes, that's true. She went to Iowa. But
they got something there.
This little town hall wasn't at one of them. So it looked like somebody's like theater, like a high school theater, honestly.
They should have turned the lights out and it had a bucket of pig's blood fall on her like Cassie.
Don't let these people play with you. But at the same time, this is what y'all voted for. Iowa went overwhelmingly red. Y'all wanted Trump. Y'all just didn't think that when he said he was going to do all of these heinous, nasty things, you thought he meant to Black people, to Latino people, to people that are poor, more broker than I am. But no, baby, your benefits are also about to get snatched. Your rights are about to get snatched. And, you can't just sit here and let these people tell you to die. And
and
you're
gonna have to be like you first
for them. Yeah, it's me or you. Which one of us is it gonna be?
Y'all have got to start pulling these crazy senators and stuff out their cars.
They should know peace
at their restaurant when they out.
They should
eating.
not know a minute of peace. They
y'all
represent you. They work for the people.
Y'all Peter bag. Start throwing paint on their asses when they walking in places. Yeah, y'all just gonna have to rise up, and you're gonna have to do it yourselves because Black people are not. And I just want to keep reiterating that, like.
And think about the populace in Iowa. This is very largely a white people's problem. And if
Very
y'all gonna let her
so.
talk about y'all like that, then this is exactly what you're gonna get.
Sorry for you. J.B. Pritzker wouldn't do nothing like that. He wouldn't allow none of the state legislators to do nothing crazy like that either.
Yeah, don't let her keep doing the clown fool on y'all. She's really playing with y'all real hard. And she's doubling down. And I hope y'all make an example out of her. But we got to do something. One by one, y'all got to get fed the fuck up. Because it's beyond stupid. Clownery. Clown games, clown prizes. Now she done told y'all that I'm so sorry to tell you, but you going to die eventually. So you might as well die now so that Peter Thiel can have his new yacht in the Mediterranean by summer. So, yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll be reoccurring. Every week is some new shenanigans. People fucked around and they found out very quickly.
And I'm actually tired of seeing all of the media like doing these. I saw a picture of this white woman that was like, I wanted deportations, but I didn't want it to be moms. Girl.
I know exactly the woman you're talking about. And that's it. You did. That is exactly you did ask for that.
Yes.
Because
And
at no
like,
point did you think that there was going to be a very nuanced and selective way that these hateful ass people who want to deport everybody was not going to just round everybody up. They don't even care if you're
that wasn't
citizens.
white. Yeah. So
Right.
it's just like, okay, huh? I mean, it's just ridiculous. But I would like them to start profiling people like myself who did not vote for this foolishness and how it has impacted my life, so that
Yeah.
I can start cussing people out via print.
Yeah, that's what needs to be humanized. I definitely am tired of the regret parade, because it did not have to be this way. And there's only a certain demographic of people who are even allowed the platform and opportunity to feign ignorance. Because that's the thing. Even if you were ignorant enough to think that this was not going to turn out exactly how we said it would turn out, that does not make you irresponsible. Like, you're still responsible,
right,
for this predicament. I don't care.
You still voted for it. Like, this is like, it's very interesting, because like, even the folks that were like, oh no, I would never vote for Kamala because of the genocide and all of that stuff. And now they're kind of like, what the hell is happening? And it's like, hey guys, I understand for sure. But I remember hearing that they both were the same and they were going to do the same thing. So if that's the case, then this would have been happening under Kamala, right?
Yeah,
like,
right. And you knew that, and at no point did you actually believe that to be true.
No, not at all. And in fact, you thought, I'm just going to be over here bullshitting, but the rest of these people know that she's the best option. But I can't say that because
I need to virtue signal.
Exactly. And you flew too close to the sun, Icarus, and now we are here in hell. Thank you.
My God, with this man. Oh, we already talked about it last week, about how he is losing his mental faculties, and but nobody is talking, and nobody is in the. It's there's just like some kid gloves that are.
It's the
put on
thing.
With the media reporting on his actual cognitive license. It's very strange.
It's very weird. It's very weird. No. Whatever. And what's his name? Fuck Jake Tapper. I ain't even gonna go into it, but I just like Natasha Rothwell does Donald Trump, and she just tell him every day that he's trash. Jake Tapper, you're trash. I'm gonna tell you every single day.
That's funny. Yeah. There was an interesting, this is Pride Month.
Happy
Pride Month. Cannot say that enough to all my ladies, ladies, gaydies. So yeah, there was this really weird interaction on the Breakfast Club. For the record, we don't actually listen or watch, but a lot of times these clips come up. They're honestly forced on my timeline. Not even like from people reposting, but just like suggested
algorithm. Yeah,
I hate that so bad.
You're a black. Watch Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, I'm very much over it. But Jess Hilarious is one of the hosts, and she had a bit of a back and forth with a guest. I think it was this past week, but it was reported that Jess Hilarious' insistence that only women can have babies was met with a bit of pushback this week on the Breakfast Club. As a guest, Lene, is it Vinay? Vinay? The parking lot pimping girl. She is, I think, a Spelman alum. She's built her own platform on like breaking down news and Black culture. In a parking lot, drinking her tea. I'm gonna keep it black, or I'm gonna keep it simple.
I'm gonna keep it real quick. Yeah.
But she was on the Breakfast. She was on the Breakfast Club talking about a new venture, and I think she has a new show on Revolt. Yes, she has a new show. That's what she was on the Breakfast Club talking about. Doing press for this new show that she's doing on like news and commentary. But they got into a little bit of a very strange back and forth. And I say strange because it apparently came out of nowhere. I refuse to listen to the entire interview. Like I said, I am not giving them people no clicks, no views. I did do some reading though, to get a quick summary of what kind of led up to this. But Lene was basically discussing her ideal partner and talking about like her friends were joke with her to say, you're probably single now because you need a man who's socially conscious. You looking for a nigga like Mark Lamont Hill, which sidebar, I want your friends to want better for you because that is crazy.
He on my Jake Tapper list too.
I'm about to say, because Mark, my goodness, the bar is in hell. Lauren is flipping off the camera for those who don't see. But we don't have to go on that little side quest right now. But she's like, yeah, my friends say I'm single now because, I need a man who is real socially conscious. And then Jess Hilarious intercedes and is like, and for you, I want somebody who knows that only women can have babies. Yes, women can have babies. Only women can have babies. And so Lene, quickly corrects her in a very it wasn't even she didn't go in on her. It was very quiet and kind of, she gathered her very respectfully.
Very much so.
And, and the interaction got kind of strange, but they came to the consensus of, well, I think Lene's first response was, yes, if you have a uterus, you can have a baby, but everyone who has uterus doesn't identify as a woman. And they did, the energy was just so strange, but they agree, yes, if you have a uterus, you can have a baby. So that's kind of where that left off. And again, I did a quick summary on a discussion. I read a summary on a discussion board to see if it was any context that was lacking, for her to bring that up. And they were like, no, they hadn't been talking about trans people. They hadn't been debating about anything related to trans people. Her comment completely came out of left field. And I imagine that Lene, the guest, on her platform has clearly been very vocal and talked about it. So this was just Hilarious's opportunity to, I guess, kind of get a soundbite that went viral or to kind of get that dig in. And I know she's had her own very problematic history of just always being on the wrong side of a lot of issues when it comes to gender and transphobia. And I mean, across the board, not even just gender shit. That girl's just, she's nutty. Yeah, she's loud and wrong. It's Baltimore Public Schools. I don't know what else to give it. But yeah, it was a very weird interaction.
Extremely.
So yeah, I think that she handled it as best she could and gathered her.
It was like a child. I mean, like a parent talking to a child,
gently, right? Yeah. It was authoritarian, not authoritarian. It was the authoritative parenting. Shout out to this is a callback to first season. We do a whole parenting episode on gentle parenting or conscious parenting and positive discipline. But yeah, girl, it was just very weird. I don't know what her issue is. And it also felt like, is Just Hilarious's beef with trans women? Because even if your beef is with trans women, that has nothing to do
with what you're talking about
giving
right
birth. Right. And that's the thing. It's okay, even if we were talking about, again, they weren't even talking about having babies or reproductive health or justice. If you're saying that.
Yeah, she's obsessed with trans women.
But that has nothing to do with having babies. And that's the weird part. Girl, that and what Lene kind of explained was that there are people, yes, women can have babies. There are people who don't identify as women who can have babies, including non-binary people, trans men, people who have, let's even just bookmark it there. Right. You can have a baby. But I just, it is very, I think the conversation can definitely become very flat online because in response, it has just been a lot of hand-wringing justifiably on Just Hilarious.
She deserves the licks.
Deserving the licks.
Yeah. Because just from what I've seen of her and her issues with trans women, it hasn't really been trans people. I've never heard her speak out against trans men. Them not being real men. None of that. It's never that. It's always about trans women. And
it's a competition.
Right. And perhaps it is with the man you date. Maybe he also likes the trans girls and the cis girls or bio women, if that's how you prefer to be, referred to. But that don't have shit to do with having babies. And I think most trans women, I mean, there could be some that have mental problems, but most trans women know that they're not able to physically birth children. So that is a moot point on their end.
Yeah.
So
no one's debating you that I think the issue is defining womanhood around who can have a baby. Exactly. And that might be what you were trying to leverage, which is also girl, that's not it.
And nobody was saying, she was not even talking about someone giving birth, someone being pregnant. So it's just that was the wrong time to try.
She's a low reader.
Yeah, very, very low reader.
That
and
was
I
giving
feel
low reader. She was looking for an egg to make that dig, and that was just very strange. Well, I hope a man that you want knows that only women can have babies. That girl looked at her like, bitch, what are you talking about?
What the hell?
Let me calmly collect you because this is not you're not gonna get the soundbite you want out of me.
No, and that's not even why I'm here. Yeah. You weird bitch. And it's okay, if you are, because I feel like the tension point for her and people like her is that they feel that because there is so much inclusive or inclusivity around pregnancy and like having the medical as well as societal terms include all people who can have babies. They feel as if there's like no space for women, but really it's just inclusive. But I do feel like in some spaces, particularly online, when folks are trying to like separate themselves from being a TERF or are like trying to show support for trans people, are just like, I'm so much more, I'm more than my parts. That's just one thing about me that makes me, you know, a woman. And I think I, you know, and yes, of course, I would hope. I mean, if you're one of them trad wives who don't feel like you got shit for yourself but popping out babies, yeah, that's probably all you think is what defines you as a woman. But for everyone else with a working brain cell, we know that we contain multitudes. However,
as a human.
And so I think instead of saying like, because I personally am not a fan of birthing people. I do not like, we don't call men sperminators. Like, it's just
sperm shooters,
semen shooters. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you could just say a pregnant person. And I think
it's
that,
like so you're getting into the tense of the actual verbiage. It's like, right, like birthing people, like you're defined by what you physically can do, the verb, what you can do, what you can't
do, right? Because then how do you know if I'm a birthing person? You're assuming I'm a birthing person because I physically
like
present as a woman,
but a cis woman.
That you don't know that. So like, why when it comes to children, it's a state of being. It doesn't happen forever. So I think we could just say like,
but when and I think it's also like when you're using that term, if it's really specifically around like reproductive health care. But I also think your point is that it can also be expansive and inclusive to say women and right, because we know that traditionally and the overwhelming majority of people who have children, who have babies
are women and identify as women
and identify as women. And so it does not have to be exclusive in that we remove that
and just say birthing people.
No, I think even in my practice, like of scholarship, I try to be intentional of including both and, because that's the whole point. I think even not the whole point. One of a tenet of queer theory is, you know, having that expansive
like that vocabulary, yes, of just like including everybody. And so the idea that, oh, if you're so insecure in your womanhood that you have to hear the word woman to know that you can have a baby, like you don't have to do all that, because I know regardless of seeing birthing person or whatever, that I, at least I hope, as far as I know, can still have children, right? So that doesn't bother me. But there are women who do not like being referred to as a birthing person, or does not like to, you know, wants to feel included in that pregnancy, you know,
and independent of why they feel that way. I think it's important in terms of us respecting and affirming how people want to be called and identified.
Exactly. Because although we are expanding to include folks who were left on the margins and often didn't have an opportunity to see themselves, that doesn't mean we have to shut out the people who had it, you know, previously. Like, we can all exist because we recognize, even Jess Hilarious stupid ass knows that if you have a uterus, you can have a child. So since she understands that, I think she could understand that women and non-binary and trans men can have
babies. Yes. And so we have to be inclusive of that, especially in the sense of when we're talking about receiving clinical and medical care, or having public health programs and policies that are inclusive of all of those people.
And legislation. Like all of
to
that.
protect people's equal rights equally. So she did. She got slow walked down back to the agreement. We can agree that if you have a uterus, you can have a baby. All right, girl. So I don't know why we going back and forth with this weirdo energy. You could have kept it for yourself.
Exactly. Because it's kind of cyclical. Because if you're saying like, I want to be called a woman and I'm a woman that can have babies, but I do agree that if you have a uterus, you can have a baby. Right. But this trans man over here does not identify as a woman. Call me a trans man. I have a uterus. I can have a child. Like, same thing with non-binary person.
Yeah.
We all can do the same things, but I like to be called this. Respect the fact that I want to be called this.
Yeah.
And move on with your life. Because really, it ain't got shit to do with you, what somebody else does with their body.
Yep.
And that was odd to bring up, because how do you know that Lene wanted to have children any fucking way? What if she can't have kids, right? Like what if that's a sore spot and you ruined her morning talking about make sure you get a man that knows a woman can have a baby and she can't have children. So you're reminding her of something that she can't do. Just
and we also
quiet.
recognize, yes, that people's women, even women, there are women who have a uterus who cannot
have children.
Exactly.
Or who do not want children.
And that does not take away from their womanhood.
Exactly.
That doesn't define their womanhood. It doesn't take away from their womanhood. So,
no.
Yeah, shit get real sticky because dummies are very much committed to being bigoted dummies.
And loud.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's the loud majority.
And not
I won't even say
read.
Majority. I won't say majority.
I think majority is overwhelmed with all of the new information.
That is it. And feel like there's not, if you don't have all of the right words and verbiage
then you're
together, then you are being phobic.
Yeah,
yes. And it is a lot to keep up with, especially if your intention is to like approach this from a level of, I want to respect people. But again, intention is not impact.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if I assume that the overwhelming majority have ill intent behind the nuance of what we're kind of publicly trying to establish as expansive gender politics and how we interact with each other and how we speak can be difficult because it's like it's easy to say the wrong thing.
Very much so. I mean, and that's where it comes down to like community too, because if you are never around people who have a different experience than yourself, then you'll never really learn.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you got to go out and make, queer friends, but like going into spaces that are queer and learning and just, or like picking up a book and learning, new terms and watching TV shows. It's just all those types of things that you can do so that you can feel more comfortable having these conversations or
and
even
be called in and asking for a place, not of being like, because also like you don't want to be co-opting spaces that are safe spaces for communities that you don't belong to. But I mean, I'm just thinking of even like some of the way I even expanded some of my understanding of how this works in the public health space was like having trans girls in that I was classmates with, who I'm taking reproductive health and justice classes, wrestling with this with them and approaching it from different ways. Like I'm a Black woman, a Black cis woman, and I'm here with, Asian and Pacific Islander trans girls or, Latina girls who have different experiences with what womanhood looks like and doing that really messy work, but in a space that we have the same goal of like advancing as a people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, but I know everyone doesn't have that opportunity, but it is being in community with people is the easiest way to understand how practical some of this is outside of like the internet. Like this isn't just abstract and theory. There's like real people lives.
Exactly. And cause I remember it was years ago because I was still in the club. So that was years ago. But I had saw a friend from high school who transitioned and I didn't know her new name.
Yeah.
And, like she always was kind of like when she was still presenting Mask, she was still
feminine.
Always feminine.
Yeah.
And I always refer to her with her other name. So when I saw her at this club and like she was obviously a woman, but I just didn't know what her name was. And so I called her by her dead name and I didn't even know what her dead name was. But she gently told me, hey, this is my name now. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. I love your new name. And that was it. Wasn't no beef.
And that's the thing. You can be brought in. That's like, it's getting corrected out of love.
Exactly. Cause I didn't know how to be like, hey, do you have a new name? Like I still don't know.
You didn't even know to ask that.
Doing that. Right. But I mean, actually, that's not true. I usually am fine asking, like, especially depending on the spaces. Like, there's some places where I know people are like, oh, I want to know everybody's pronouns. So I will just come out and ask folks. But if you like, last time I saw you, you looked like this. Now you look like that. You got a new name. I think they might appreciate it, but also they might not. However, there is a way for you to have those conversations if people know you and know that you're not doing it with malice.
Malice,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's not nothing. It's not. You shouldn't be afraid of it, but you do have to do some work. It's not going to be something like, because I feel like people are overwhelmed, and then because for so long it was just a heteronormative like society, right? And so it's like, I'm not doing that extra work to figure out all that extra stuff. Like, I want everybody to have what they want, but like, no, I'm not trying to learn that. Well, then it makes it difficult for you to move through this new society that we're in, and you might not be able to talk to people that you really love because you're refusing to pick up the knowledge. So everybody do their part, but please think critically, because trans women cannot have babies, and nobody ever, at least I ain't gonna say nobody, but in all of my social media perusing, and I do a lot, I never see anyone arguing about women having babies as it relates to trans men that are asserting their right to have children. I don't even think it, like, people only think about it when they see the trans men that be posing with the bellies, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's right.
And then it's like, we were introduced to that. Remember, like TLC used to have all the medical mystery shows. We just didn't have the language for it, child. No. But yes, it's always like presented as some like medical anomaly,
right? Yeah, it's just like, nah,
this man can have a baby. But yeah, you know, we're all doing the work. We're trying at least.
And and if you aren't trying, this month is a great month to start, because it's Pride Month. All right, y'all. Our last topic of the day has to do with the legendary Audra McDonald and Miss Keisha Lewis and the old hag Patti LuPone. No, I'm just kidding. Patty get on my nerves, so I'm gonna explain it, but I do respect, her talent. But anywho, if you don't know who Patti LuPone is, she is a Broadway actress. She's also, if you're a Marvel fan, she was in Agatha All Along. Damn, I can't remember a goddamn thing today. It's Agatha All Along. That's what it is. But she was one of the old witch. She was the old witch on the show. But anywho, she's been on Broadway for many, many years, has a reputation of being a diva. Everybody knows that she says off the wall, mean girl type of shit. But on, what was that, March 26th, I think that has come to an end. So she had an interview with the New Yorker, and she basically was just talking about, what was going on now. She has a new show on Broadway, and she was just going through, her time in the industry, blase. But at the interviewer had asked her about Audra McDonald, because Audra is currently playing the lead role in Gypsy, which is a revival of a play that Patty actually played in the original, and she played the part that Audra was playing.
Not the original. The original was from like 1959.
Ain't Patty old as shit?
She ain't old enough to have been in no goddamn Gypsy in the fees. Let me see.
I think so.
Keep going.
Hold on. You didn't kill my flow. Now I need to go Google it. Patti LuPone, Gypsy.
She was not no original Gypsy. She couldn't have been.
I think you are underestimating. Gypsy old as hell. I mean, Patti LuPone old as hell, G.
Nah. She wasn't Rose. Not an original. Well, that's the movie. Let's see.
Stage cast. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was Ethel Merman. Girl. All right, yeah. So the interviewer had asked her about Audra McDonald's performance in Gypsy, because
that's how she started talking. I didn't know how she brought it up.
Yeah, so Patti LuPone played the same role that Audra's playing now in 2008. And so before he had actually, I think it was a guy, but I don't really know. But before the interviewer had actually got into like her performance, he just asked, like, how did you feel about her, because she's in Gypsy. And she first started off by saying that, they're not friends. They have this issue. And she like ended it like, Audra is not a friend. And like they made a point to say that she like really emphasized the D in friend. Again, she's a diva. She's dramatic. This is what she's known for. But so then the interviewer was like, okay, weird. How do you like her performance? Like in Gypsy?
Yeah.
And they said that she did not respond. She waited 15 seconds, looked out the window, and said, what a beautiful day.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
She hit him with, You like Brazilian music? Rest in peace to Quincy Jones.
Oh, the Chicago King.
Yeah. Anyway. So later in the interview, the interviewer asked because I think what happened is that I don't think it was widely known that Patty and Audra had this beef. And so they were trying to come to like the bottom of like what possibly could have like caused it. Now I'm adding context, but this wasn't in the article. But the interviewer had asked her about Keisha Lewis's comments that were publicly criticizing Patty because she submitted a noise complaint against Hell's Kitchen, which if you aren't familiar, that's a musical based on Alicia Keys. Yeah. A lot of beautiful Black people in it. And at the time, Miss Lewis, who is, outstanding in her own right, she was like one of the leads in Hell's Kitchen, and then Patty was in The Roommate, and they shared a wall. And so Patty submitted the noise complaint and said like basically the sound was bleeding through and they needed to keep it down. And Keisha came out and was like, she came out on IG and said that the complaint, I'm going to use the exact words, she characterized it as bullying, offensive, and racially microaggressive, referring to a predominantly Black Broadway show as loud can unintentionally reinforce harmful stereotypes. Which, hello, yes, absolutely. Audra then jumped in the comments, giving support, like with emojis and, all of that. Now, that happened in 2023. Today, in 2025, when she was giving that interview, she said that she felt like Audra's comments were inappropriate and she knew she shouldn't have said that. And that, I think, is part of the ire that she has with her. And so then she went even further to go in on Keisha Lewis and was like, oh my God. So here's a problem with her. She calls herself a veteran, which she is. She's been on Broadway. For quite some time. She is well seasoned within the Black Broadway. You can't take that away from her. But anyway, Patty was like, let's find out how many Broadway shows she has, because she doesn't even know what the fuck she's talking about. Now, these are quotes that were in the article. So then they say that she pulls out her phone and Googles it. And she says, she's only done 7 shows. I've done 31. Don't call yourself a vet, bitch.
Oh my God. Oh, this white lady was going crazy. Yeah. So then the interviewer was being a messy bitch and was like, Keisha Lewis has done 10 shows and Patty LuPone has done 28. But, who cares? They had to check that because she's done more and you've done less, bitch. So and then Patty had ended it like her complaint that she made against Hell's Kitchen was not unusual, and it happens all the time when shows share a wall. But ma'am, you still are not thinking about the optics of the situation because because you are a white woman that's done 31 shows and you feel like you've earned the right to be rude and disrespectful and low-key racist to your Black peers. Yes, but you don't see them as peers.
She don't see them as peers because she ain't been in as many shows as you. Damn the fact that Black women, Black people do not get the same amount of opportunities anywhere, but especially in entertainment, especially on Broadway.
Yes.
So like, girl, grow the fuck up. So anyway, and then on top of it, I think what really grinds her gears is that Miss Audra McDonald has the most competitive Tony Awards at 6, and she's one of 3 of the most Tony nominations. She has 10. It's 3 of them, but she is like the top dog when it comes to it. And Patty ain't even on that list of the top competitors, even though she's had all these fucking shows.
Right. You had 31 times.
And you still suck.
Or 28.
28, right? But and it's like, okay, if you Googled it, you can't read either. My God. She like, what's that girl from Glee? Leah Michelle. That they say she can't read and they be feeding her the lines in her earpiece.
Terrible.
But anyway, so just to give a timeline, because it was very fucking funny. So May 26th, the article comes out. Social media is going in. Crazy. Like, first of all, it's disrespectful. I saw a lot of Black people too, but I knew it was picking up steam. Granted, I love Renee down, but Renee is always on the Black side. Not disrespectfully, but she just loves and reveres Black Renee Rapp
That's
was
hilarious.
like, you shut your fucking mouth talking about Keisha Lewis. Okay, Patty. Don't you ever. She don't play about her black queens. Beyonce, Meg Thee Stallion, now Audra and Keisha Lewis. Keisha.
That is so funny.
But yeah, she made a video. She was cracking up. Because if you don't know Renee Rapp, she was on Mean Girls Broadway. And that was like her breakout.
She was Regina George,
She was Regina George. So May 26th article comes out. May 29th, Audra goes on CBS Mornings and basically hit a Mariah Carey. I don't know her. You would have to ask Patty. Very classy. She had her little glasses on, a nice little wine colored lipstick, a small smile. Just, I have no idea. You would have to ask Patty. I haven't seen her in 11 years. Okay? How you got beef with me and I ain't seen your ass? Girl, you're fighting up a wall. Patty was out there arguing at the wall, and Audra was like,
I don't hear anything.
I don't.
That is so crazy.
Yes. And so by May 31st, Patty apologized. Big apologize.
When did that letter come out? From it was like 500 people that signed that letter from Broadway. It was like Broadway
had an open letter to basically condemn.
If you've ever done anything legitimate on Broadway, your ass had signed it down to say, listen here, white man,
bitch.
White lady. Right.
You better keep it cute.
Listen here, bitch. Yeah, that legitimately was.
She called her a bitch and was telling her to check the numbers, bitch. You trying to do a Maxwell?
Which is only funny when Maxwell does it.
Right.
I'm not
only
lie.
Maxwell. That was hilarious. Yep. Maxwell, Eric Benet, even though, if you listen to the last episode, I have trauma. Or the first episode. So Eric Benet is funny as fuck on TikTok.
So funny.
But no, so she basically she gave a thorough apology, and I think she actually
I
means
didn't see
it
this part
because
you think she means it?
I think she means it in that she wants people to believe it because she's tired of getting her ass kicked.
She's an actor, honey.
Yeah,
I think that this is just her act. She ain't changed her damn mind that quickly.
Oh no, but I'm saying the words that she used is damn near groveling. She wants them to. She wants to be forgiven and not like I'm sorry if I offended. Let me tell you, for as long as I've worked in theater, I have spoken my mind and never apologized. That is changing today. I am deeply sorry for the words I used during the New Yorker interview, particularly about Keisha Lewis, which were demeaning and disrespectful.
Period.
I regret my flippant and emotional responses during this interview, which were inappropriate, and I am devastated that my behavior has offended others and has ran counter to what we hold dear in this community. I hope to have the chance to speak to Audra and Keisha personally to offer my sincere apologies. Keep it.
What do you mean you were devastated? How else did you intend for those words to be received?
She did not intend for people to have their back because Patty has always talked shit. I remember because people were pressing her when she made the noise complaint and it came out, and I remember her having this nasty video, like somebody caught her back when she was leaving out the back doors. You know how they leave out and the people stand there, and somebody had basically got her on a hot mic and she was being real crass. But now, they got an army that's basically supporting them. Like, you're not finna talk to them like they are not decorated, they are not well respected, and that they don't do good work. You're not gonna do that. We're not gonna allow you to do that, especially because it sounds like, yes, she was super disrespectful because they were black, but she's probably done this to everyone. And so this is an opportunity for everybody to jump and put the devil down in the hole.
Damn.
But yeah, so she kept going, but in any event,
I don't want to hear nothing else that lady got to say.
But I could tell for her to do all of that, because she literally never apologized. Like, that's her shtick, is that she's a bitch, everybody knows it, and you deal with it.
Damn. Well, until she met this black woman.
Exactly.
That's great though. I love that. I love that she's actually that people showed up to support black women.
Absolutely.
I feel like that letter might, I don't know. I think I can see both sides of the letter being overkill because Audra cleared it. It was
absolutely
classy.
Yes.
Granted, I guess, and then Keisha probably also had her opportunity to say her piece, but I don't know if 500 niggas dogpiling after I've said my piece is actually respecting that, like, I'm good.
Right. And I don't have no problem.
Yeah, exactly. But who knows if she would have apologized if they did not.
Exactly. And I also feel like
publicly shame people. We got to bring back shame.
Yeah,
we do.
Because there are studies that shame doesn't work, but I do think in this instance, if it's not shame, it's going to be violence. So I think shame would be better than her getting popped in her fucking mouth, which I feel like is an automatic attitude adjustment. Because sometimes, as we get older and everybody, I don't want to lose my license. I don't want to go to jail. I ain't got bail money. So a lot of people don't get decked. So sometimes shame is the only way. Because when we were kids, after a while, you just took it to the grass. We weren't going to keep talking. We're going to fight this out. And then we're going to go run to the ice cream truck and be friends.
Yeah,
but
not before the attitude readjustment.
Not before. Not a minute before. So,
that's so funny.
Patty, hate that it had to happen to you when you're 172 years old, but I hope you've learned the lesson. You don't hop out your body again.
You said she was in the original Gypsy. I was like, now, wait a minute.
Look, I'm not going to say what I want to say.
She looked like it.
She already got dog piled on. Why do I have to talk about her face? But yeah, keep it cute.
So funny.
Keep it cute.
I get that. Okay, that was fun. This was a very loaded deck for pop culture this week.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It was a lot going on, but yeah. Okay. Wild boots. But in any event, I think this one actually kind of lightened it up because the other ones was kind of blowing me. However, we're now on my favorite segment. And this month, because it's Pride Month, we have a special twist. If you don't know, this is I Love Men, which is my segment where I just talk about beautiful men as the resident fine nigga anthropologist. Yes. I am well versed. I look high and low for beautiful specimens of the male presenting variety. I don't know. I'm inclusive. Yeah. And so I keep a nice little running list. For whatever reason, I keep accidentally sharing it with people who are not associated with the podcast.
That's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing because instead of being like, hey friend, what is this? They go and read the whole fucking thing. And funny. Every time
that's funny.
My black ass turns red in the face, but whatever. No. I'm standing on business about mine.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, I have this long running list and it is broken down into categories so that I can make sure the list is one day will be equally balanced. Right now,
that's not a goal in my mind, but go for it, friend, if that's yours.
Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity lover. Most days. Well, I like to look at. I'm an equal opportunity looker. How about that?
Okay.
But anywho, this month I am only selecting men who are in the LGBTQIA family that are very, very fine in my eyes.
I'm about to say that gives a lot of the bench is long. Let's hear
it.
Let's hear it for the boys.
Let's hear it for the boys, and these boys will specifically be out. Okay? I'm not gonna do any speculating. Yeah, I'm not being messy. But yes, and I also want to note because I know that some of my straight sisters be like, if you want to try one day, come with me to the men. It's not like that. I just am appreciating that you're beautiful, but I respect that you do not like women. If I was a man for a day, if I woke up with a Freaky Friday situation, I would be knocking on many of y'all doors. Okay. But that is fantasy. So right now it just had to be in my head. Okay. All right. So friend, are you ready? Without further ado.
Pictures?
Oh, no, I don't have the pictures because I think you know this guy.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to look it up if I don't.
Yes, you do. The fine nigga of the day is Kellen Derrick, Megan Thee Stallion's hairstylist.
Wait. I've seen him before, but I honestly don't know if I have like a picture of him in my mind. Let me see.
Oh my God. God damn it. I just knew you had him.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they just popped up on my page as soon as I opened it.
He still does her hair?
Yeah. If you don't know, Kellen has a very nice fade with waves, people. Okay, he's got nicely placed tattoos. It's not giving Drake with the scribble scrabble. He's got a nice body. He's never ashy. Did I say he got a nice body? Yeah. It's giving.
He is fine.
He's
I gotta
fine.
give it to you.
He's
Girl,
fine
you're coming
as
up.
Funuk.
You've been doing much better this season. You've been doing much better this season.
I always do better. I always do good. And because these are our Pride edition, I will not make you objectify them. So, are they fine or no? That's all you have to say.
It's a binary answer.
It's a binary answer.
I don't have to give him no. Well, even if he did, Shorty would get a 10. Cause
Shorty is a 10. Yeah, I'd climb him like a tree.
Handsome.
He is beautiful. Very handsome.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't have his face committed to memory. I will say that. He also has like a very. I love their disposition. They have a very playful, sweet brother-sister relationship.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because every so often I feel like people who don't like really be tapped in with Meg
think that's her man.
They're like,
right, because he's fine.
Nigga? Who that in the back?
Who that in the back?
And I'll be like, yeah.
It's the girls. This is my good Judy right here.
Right. That's a good Judy. But he also, and I think also he has more of like a mask presentation, at least. I don't know, publicly. Who knows what he does behind doors? So also there's like...
I'm just sitting here scrolling, looking at his Instagram.
I know.
I'm like, oh, he's so beautiful.
He is so beautiful.
What a beautiful chocolate man. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he got stuck. He got stuck like in Mexico or something. He said that I follow him on TikTok because he's funny. But he said somebody stole his passport and I was willing... to call in the SEALs to come and extract
That's terrifying. You talk about worst case scenario. That's some shit that I have bad dreams about that. Especially in Trump's America.
Yeah, it was Labor Day.
No.
So he went down to the embassy and he was like, apparently the American embassy in Mexico takes Labor Day off. And so, yeah, he was very stressed. And I was like, well, I mean, they are American. So I can kind of get that, but he was not expecting them to have Labor Day off.
I guess funny. I guess the federal government said, oh, baby, the door is closed. I don't care where you are in the world. Do not have an emergency on September 4th. That is not my business.
That is was I say Labor Day? I mean Memorial Day.
September 1st is, I'm saying, why is Beyonce in my brain so bad? I said September 4th was Labor Day because I'm thinking about Cowboy Carter and how I need to get myself together. But yes, Memorial Day was most recent.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so funny. Well, good job, friend.
Oof, thank you.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's very fine.
Fine.
Oh, okay. Wait, did you see this picture?
It's like one of the first ones that when I looked up his Instagram, it was the first picture of him on his Instagram because everything else is Megan and her beautiful hair. He did that wig too, that wig that you love and that you wanted.
Mm-hmm. He do
her curly
all
looks
the
are so good.
Yeah, it's just the curls. I love the color, that like copper, red, brown. I am not brave enough to dye my hair, but I would love to have my hair like in that shade range. But yeah, he's beautiful. He's really good looking.
That's so funny. I love that. And Megan also is one of our LGBT
oh yeah, but I'm not rating the bad bitches.
I know you're not rating them. I'm just laughing that for Pride you also had somebody, we only know him because of
Meg, right? So shout out to Meg because she is very fine. But yes. I don't want to be playing on here. It's Pride month, so I don't want to be like she fine as hell. As far as I know, I am not bi or questioning, so I'm not gonna play.
There's objectify the women.
No,
I know.
No.
There's enough men to do that. We won't have to do that too.
But Meg is also very beautiful. I think she if I was attracted to women for real, obviously Meg would be my type. She's gorgeous. Yeah. So, but that's about all I can do right now is just say people are beautiful and sexy.
Well, I love that. Well, friend, we had a segment planned today and we were going to talk about toxic positivity, but we have been yapping. And it might make sense for us to just go ahead and hold that off for another week. And this just be an episode where we talk through pop culture. We talk through all the other fun segments we have, and we can even wrap it up today with our PSA. Well, that was a very rich conversation. We actually had a whole segment planned out for today, but looking at the clock, you know what? We're just going to table that for next time. We're going to talk about toxic positivity. What was the question lined up for this segment, Lolo?
Can I be mad in peace?
Come on now. Amen, somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We'll save that for next time because we had a very rich conversation. I think our woo girl, what is going on, took
What's
a
going
lot
on,
of,
child?
you know, it's a lot going on. But hopefully you enjoyed our musings and
Yes.
gleaned a little bit from it that you can share. So, you know, instead of going to the main stage, we're just going to wrap it up at the end of every episode. We always close with our benediction, our PS, our PSA. Please stop.
Please.
Or please start, right?
Ooh.
I feel like it could be one or the other because we're out here generationally trying to make shit shake and shift. So
this
I
was
thought
a
about
surprise,
that.
guys, but I got something to start. Okay.
Okay. So
No.
I was about to say, if you sounded very motivated. I want this enthusiasm. Let's hear what your PSA is then for this week.
Now you're putting too much on it. Mine is really silly. Now that I'm back outside, I would like the men bow. I would like men to please start dancing again. Okay.
Shake that ass.
Come on. That helps you stand out. And honestly, like, I mean, obviously, some girls are not going to like if you be bobbing that back down. I'm not going to judge you. As long as you're fine, I might still be going. However, everybody should be dancing in a club.
Girl, just go down to New Orleans. You get your dancing ass nigga.
I know, but I don't want to move to New Orleans, and I don't know if they want to move here.
Them men don't like to leave New Orleans.
They
girl.
do not.
You
That's
meet
what
somebody
I've learned.
in the boot. You gonna end up in the boot. That's
not me.
If that's gonna work out.
It's too many goddamn mosquitoes down there. I'll be walking around like Violet from the Willy Wonka.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Please continue.
But yeah, please start dancing in the venues. It's lots of day parties that I am unfortunately being forced to go to. And I would like to dance.
Pucker
and
up, Buttercup. You should go outside and be enthusiastic about it. That you do.
I do. So if it's a day party,
you gotta start early.
I have to get
you gotta wake up with your mimosa. But you know what? Make it fun though. Get your mimosa, put your music on, and get ready and go be
my
cute.
optimal time to wake up is 10 a.m. So anytime I have to wake up before then, it's not a good morning. I mean, thank you, Jesus, I'm alive. But like, I would love to wake up at 10 and get to the club at like 10. 12 hours, I get 6 hours to live my life, and then I have 6 hours to prep myself to get ready. Because I do it, it's like a slow roll, okay? I have ADHD, guys. So I do a lot of things within that 6 hours. Sometimes it's naps. Sometimes it's playing games. Sometimes it is picking out 5 or 6 different outfits and then deciding I don't want any of them and laying down and staring at the ceiling until I have another idea. But that is also because mine is a little out of whack right now. But none of that is important. Men and friends of men who have good influence over them, tell the single guys, because I am not interested in anyone who is committed in any type of entanglement, marriage, separation. I only want single men.
Yes.
To start dancing. Yeah. And please start dancing. It's much fun.
What if a nigga, you saw the discussion around the man who rode the bull 3 times on the date, and the girl got the ick and was like, I'm never ever giving this man no play. That is so funny to me. But it's interesting.
Rest in peace. That was one of my favorite shows.
I know.
They done. I was sad about that.
I heard. They were so funny.
They were funny.
She was so disturbed and disgusted by that man. So a man gets on the bull 3 times, Lauren. You going?
Okay. Hold on. See how you do me? It's possible. I think so. Honestly, it just depends. Right now, if he has a competitive spirit, right? Like the first time, he over there bouncing on it.
Yeah,
trying to get his rhythm. No, because have you ever done a mechanical bull?
I have. They're so fun.
They're super fun. But like, if you haven't done it for the first time, which I feel like a lot of men probably don't do it often, so the very first time you hop on, if they try to jerk you real fast, you're gonna fall off. So then you like, oh shit, I can't let this best me. I was only there for 1 second. So then you hop on again, and then he's like, the third time, because maybe he's like, I want to last 30 seconds. Like I don't want her to think I can't hold. I can't
man.
So yeah, if he was competitive and he just wanted to show that he could
can't do nothing. We can't have no kind of fun.
We can't. All you homophobic bitches. Like, yeah, there are certain. You know how the girls will ride the bull. So like, if you like body rolling and all that stuff, and it's like,
it just might not be your tea. You're like, this actually is not attractive to me. Right. As the person you're trying to date, it might not interested.
That might not be my jam. But I'm saying that if it's 3 times and he's just got a try hard spirit and he's like,
he want to be the Kobe Bryant of bulls,
exactly,
of bull riders.
Exactly. Maybe he come from a family that do the rodeo. And he like, I can't disrespect my family name.
Now you're making this a fucking Cowboy Carter anthology.
Depends on what he look like. Because if he look like Kellen Derrick, he can ride the damn bull 6 times. I'll help him up. Pat his head off. He's taking ladies.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Okay. We'll give it up for you. I love that. Hey man, start dancing down to the dancing.
And extra points if you wear a very good smelling cologne.
That's how you get chose this summer, gentlemen. Look good, smell good, be able to do a little 2-step.
And then also, this is a please stop.
Criteria.
I'm sorry, because I just remembered from the last time I was outside. Gentlemen, I'm talking into the mic directly because this is a very serious thing. If you come up to a group of ladies because you want to talk to one lady and you offer to buy ladies drinks, and said ladies say that they're drinking Douce and pineapple, and you're like, oh, like, first of all, I understand if it's out of your price range, but like, also maybe don't offer to buy drinks.
Don't lead with that. We're not drinking real liquor.
Right. Because we have youthful looks, but we're pushing 40. So we can afford a Douce and pineapple, which is what we were drinking. But this young gentleman then proceeded to tell us, well, actually, me and my homies got a bottle of tequila in our section.
Well, good for you.
Right. And I'm like, well, we're drinking Douce and pineapple. And it was very nice to meet you, sir. Have a good time. Yeah. But like, nothing gives me the ick more. You can ride the bull 7 times, but coming over asking me for a drink and then being like, oh, your drink is too expensive. Nothing says brokey.
That's so terrible.
And stingy, so or like, you don't want to do what's necessary to make me happy. I have to,
because you volunteer. That's the thing. It's not saying that you broke because you can't do it. Don't volunteer to stunt, and then when you're told that the bar is here up high,
then it's like, well, do you want this well tequila? I don't want no goddamn 1800 if I'm over here drinking Douce.
That's no also shade. Not well tequila, which is very funny. You're very bougie if you think 1800 is well tequila.
Sorry. Well, first of all, tequila is my drink of choice. I was drinking Douce because it was purchased for me. And then I just kept going with it. But yeah, don't do that, guys. It's weird because the guy was actually cute, I think.
Because you could just be charming. You actually don't. Women are going, because if you actually are a man that can string 2 sentences together and have a little bit of respect and look at women as people, human, you're already ahead of the game.
Especially for me.
Yeah.
But and then also, I mean, it's nice to try to include the friend group, but again, if your pockets is not pocketing, just approach the young lady that you are interested in, and hopefully you can afford to buy her a drink.
Oof, I ain't been outside in a while like that. That's crazy. Damn. Because the prices is crazy. Outside. It is. So I can't imagine walking up to a group of women I don't know, unless I really got it like that. If you ain't big bank, don't lead with that. No. Especially not in DC, child. It's a margarita is $45. So
exactly.
No.
So that's why you should just ask a lady to dance.
Yeah, there we go. It's free. Get your heart rate up. It's good for your body.
Might even get a number if you can work them hips. Oh my God. Okay. I'm having a moment. I was dancing at a party in college.
We're going
with this guy. I'm going back, but I just remember, and then I got excited. He was Jamaican. Did I tell this story already?
Not on this podcast platform. I don't believe so.
I never, I was in college, so I didn't know none of the, like, how the Jamaicans be at the dance hall. I didn't know none of that.
Yeah, they be whining their hips.
We were dancing, and I'm still stuck because I can go back to that moment. He could dance so well. He was moving his hips so well. I had to turn around and look like, you're really dancing.
Are you a person? How are you doing this? And how long ago? That was like easily 15 years ago.
Ma'am, we don't have to put any years on it, okay? I'm
trying to level set to understand how he's stuck. He been on your brain for a while.
Yes, because that was a lasting memory. Then I was like, oh, his voice is sexy. Like, then I had like a little crush, but he's happily married now.
Good for him.
But very nice guy. But I was thinking, like, damn, she probably have a lot of fun with him because I'll never forget that one.
That's
okay, but anyway, sorry, that went very long.
You know, I love a side quest. I love a side quest. Okay, my PSA is a stop. It's a stop this week. Millennials in particular, because we are the ones with children who are small and like toddler age, little kids. I mean, maybe some Gen X. Most of y'all don't have kids who are really that little. Stop cursing at your children. It has to end with us. I know that we had, but we were raised by boomer parents who were not always empathetic and might have been a little emotionally intolerant and harm. Yeah. But it does not have to continue. I don't know what it I've always felt this way, but especially having children now and having very sensitive children. When I'm in public and I see parents cursing out their kids like little strangers on the street, like it breaks my heart. In a way that
I'd be ready to call CPS.
It's almost like you gonna make it worse if you actually say something to the parent. Cause now you got these bitches coming up to me on the street, and something triggered me this week. I saw somebody, and the thing is, being a parent, also knowing how kids can try you, and your patience can really you can be overstimulated to the max, and there can be reasons for you lashing out. Right? Kids be doing real unsafe and stupid shit. You literally have to keep them from alive, from hurting themselves on a daily. But I just feel like that's something that we can legitimately
leave behind.
It can end with us. I just don't think that has to be in our community. We don't have to be the ones who are talking to our kids like they little niggas on the street. Because this world is already going to be harsh and cruel enough to Black children, especially, that home should be a soft and a safe space for them to make mistakes in a way that's corrected with love. And so when I see y'all cursing y'all kids out, it really just makes me want to physically respond. And
I feel like it primes them for abuse.
Yes, because I think this is how they're supposed to be talked to. And then those kids go and my kids got to go to school with your kids who think that's how you're supposed to talk to people. And now they're talking and relating in a way that is very antisocial and harmful. And it doesn't have to be like that. That's not how they should be taught to relate to one another. That is not how they have a high sense of self-worth and esteem. And it just makes me so sad that
I feel like that. Well, I don't want to. I've run across that quite a bit because of where I live and like the places I frequent. But usually, depending on how bad it is, I likely, because sometimes I'm getting that spirit of my mother and my grandmother, but I am also recognizing the times are different. So I just try to like compliment. Like I'll be like, oh my gosh, now it'd be hard sometimes because those people can sometimes be outside looking a fucking fool. But like if they have something on that I like, if I like give compliments, just try to
the parent or the child.
Oh, wow. So
it's almost like so you know how like when there's domestic violence in public, you're supposed to like redirect the person's attention.
Yes.
Like I'm going to call you into me so that you're not paying attention to the person you're trying to actually harm.
Exactly.
That is so interesting to do that with parents and children. I've never heard of that strategy specifically. So say a little bit more.
So like, like if I, cause I'm a thespian. So I might, if it's in like grocery stores as well, it can happen. So if it's in a grocery store, I might be acting like I can't figure out like, where I'm looking. And then I'll like look down and be like, oh my goodness, I really like your hair. And like, if the parent like could be yelling, but it's not, or not yelling, but like cussing, but once they see an adult talking to their child, they're gonna stop. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking for something. And he just got on the cutest, whatever. And then I just try to
diffuse the situation that way.
I need to get something right here between where y'all are, so that I gotta break up.
Because it's one thing to say a curse word to your child is one thing, but it's like when you're calling your child out of their name and it's all kind of bitches and fucks and all this crazy, like you wouldn't talk to an adult without being prepared to actually defend yourself,
to knuckle up, right?
Legitimately, you would not speak to no stranger like that. I mean, sometimes some people would, because people just the antisocial behavior is like post-COVID. People are very unstable. We are very unhinged as a populace, but. Yeah, anytime I see little kids getting cussed the fuck out, it's hurts. Like, I would love to put your mother's head through a wall right now, but I know that's not going to solve the problem. I know that's not. It's going to make everything worse. Not everybody's going to jail,
right? So I mean, I don't recommend it if you are not like attuned to figuring out who's really off their rocker and shit. But like, if
some people be crazy for real,
right? And they gotta look in their eye, and you just don't want to cross that boundary. But if you can tell, like obviously they might be upset. Like, they could have a valid reason for being upset, but it makes it even easier.
Like, your kid might have just tried to run in the street, and you're panicked and you're freaked out, but there's still a way to engage with your child,
right? If it's all right, you got to sit in the cart. Like, you're not going to be roaming or whatever. You can find a way to kind of diffuse as a parent, but like as a bystander, if you can see that they're not, going to smack the shit out of you.
Yeah.
That's the easy way.
Yeah.
The easy way is to just go like, I need something right here. And then just compliment, like,
that's community work. That's community work. But
and with the least amount of resistance, because I'm not saying like, I don't talk to no kid, like, like, you're not blaming them, you're not passing no judgment
or inserting yourself into like telling them how they should be parenting,
right? And then because you're doing something, right, you're getting an item or you're complimenting, you don't then have to like, because sometimes people who do that will try to like bring you into it as if you would say the same thing, and it's like, no, I just think her shoes, or I really like your bag, girl, whatever, and going about your day. But I like to run interference for kids.
I love that.
Babies and elders are my soft spot. And
as they should be for all of us. We should absolutely protect the most vulnerable in our community.
When I say babies, I mean all kids, not just the cute ones, even the teens, because I feel like, I feel like there's definitely statistics about it, but like after kids get out of, I'm saying middle school, but I think that's a stretch.
No, I don't even think middle school kids are also kind of like forgotten.
I think like 5th grade is probably the end of when children, for certain people, are seen as like sweet, innocent kids.
Sweet kids,
and then after that, it's just like every man, woman, child, dog for themselves.
They get drug up.
And so I try to be a safe space, even just small interactions.
It's the educator in you for sure. It's the teacher in you.
And I feel like I'm very community minded. I wish, as like, because even my neighbors, I be forcing their asses to talk to me, because they will literally walk past me and I just cannot do it. It's weird, because my natural instinct is to acknowledge the people who are in front of me. Yeah. Because
you was raised right.
Right. So for you to think you finna walk past me, I'm not gonna stand in your way, but I'm gonna be like, hello, how you doing? Very loud, and you're gonna look like an ass if you don't respond. And there have been people, I had a next door neighbor who would not respond for a whole year. That bitch was crazy.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
well,
please stop cussing at your kids.
Please stop, because it is literally breaking
damaging
their
them.
Sense of self.
Yeah.
Yes, it is damaging. It is deeply damaging, and we can do better. We have to. They deserve They deserve the best of us. So it can stop with us. Millennials, tighten up. I get it. Times is hard, but we hard bodies. We built for it. Your babies are not. They don't have to be, nor should they have to be right now. Let them be children and innocent.
Please. So, they deserve it.
Thank you, friend. That wraps up this episode. Follow us at Bridges Breaks Pods on IG and TikTok. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We are now streaming all episodes with both video and audio. And we would love to tap in and connect more with y'all online. Rate, review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So we will
email us if you got a story, a bridge moment, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What's our email?
Did
you say that? It's bridges in, like nigga, breakdowns at gmail.com. Send us your bridge moments. If you got some fine nigga of the day for me to add to my list, that's my brand. My mama sent me a fine nigga or a candidate. And I was like, baby, he's been on the list. Okay.
She thought she was Christopher Columbusing your shit. Baby. You're like, I'm the originator.
You gotta dig deep, honey. But yeah, send me some fine niggas of the day. I'll see.
Or
I'll let you know.
A please stop or a please start.
Oh yes. Oh, a start. Give us some starts because this is new, and I only had that one because I'm off my break, so now I'm plotting. So funny.
I have some starts, but yeah, as we get inspired through the weeks, we have to keep them organized. But we would love to hear from y'all. Tap in. We love y'all. We appreciate you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Holla.